Yeah, I think for beginners is to not overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. Pick a niche that you I would say a niche that you have exposure to or you're aware of. For instance, like a
Mm,
dog. Let's say you have dogs. You have a pet, and then you pick a specific breed, like a cocker spaniel or miniature schnauzer. I say that because I have those two dogs. And then
yeah.
there's various groups and things that people talk. You know, when you have dogs, and there's different sayings and different quotes that resonate with people that are dog owners or pet owners. So start simple, start the specific niche, and then the next tip is really focus on your listings. Talking the mock-ups, the titles, the tags. That's probably the biggest tip, honestly, is just optimize those for search results. And
Mm,
most of the listings, if you look at that aren't selling, it's just due to very, very short titles or not very relevant. They're not using keywords that people are actually searching for, customers are actually searching for. The same thing with the tags. And then, of
yeah,
course, that thumbnail, that main mock-up image is really, really important in capturing their
definitely,
attention.
definitely. Yeah. So when you mentioned tags there, keywords, and what people typing in, how would you go about actually finding those? Do you have like a research method or a tool that you
Yeah, there's a
recommend,
lot
or
of tools you could use, like Everbee's great.
ever be?
But if you
Okay.
don't want to pay for a tool, and Everbee does have a free version too, but outside of that, if you don't want to pay for a tool, the simplest version is just go to Etsy and start typing, dog shirt, and then expand on that cocker spaniel shirt. Look at the auto suggested keywords because in order for those to even appear, there's enough people naturally searching for them, and then
Mm,
Etsy's algorithm will add it to the autocomplete. So I'd say those auto suggested keywords are a good place to start, and just kind of look at those, and then also look at best selling listings. Look at their titles, look at the keywords in their titles, look at the tags they're using.
mm, mm.
And again, Everbee can help you find those tags really quickly instead of you scrolling to the bottom of the page and looking at the tags. So there's things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and there are a lot of free tools too that will help with it.
I can also imagine it might help actually looking at reviews. If you look into some of the best-selling listings, they would have a lot of reviews, and people might say, I got this for my daughter, or it'll give you an idea of the niche itself, what people are buying for, what sorts of occasions, which people, and it might actually give you ideas of who to target with your
Yeah,
listings and your keywords.
that's a great tip right there too.
Yeah, that's definitely something I would do. So generally, you would say create a niche shop to begin with,
Yeah,
something that you're really familiar with, and focus on optimizing the listings rather than just creating thousands that have like terrible mockups, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I go quality over quantity and very niche to start. Once you get a hang of things, then you can start to scale that. You can
Mm,
move up to dogs as a whole, and to go more broad. And once you cast a
yeah.
broad net, you'll start getting different cells, and you can start again going deeper into those different niches that are giving you cells and start
Mm,
expanding from there.
yeah. I think that's definitely good advice in the sense that I find that especially for beginners, Etsy is a bit confusing compared to like the normal print on demand sites because Etsy charges you a lot of fees and then you have to pay the print providers. There's just a lot of extra steps that can seem a bit overwhelming. But once you start getting a few orders and you get the emails of the charges and you have to pay and stuff like that, you actually then get used to it and you know what to do for your future listings, let's say, rather than just putting tons of them out there with the wrong pricing and, messing yourself up for the future. So
Yeah,
it's definitely good to start slow until you get a few sales and then really double down. So are there some common Etsy mistakes that you see people make? Because with MyDesigns, obviously you have access, or I'm guessing you speak to a lot of Etsy sellers all the time. Yeah, what do people commonly do wrong, do you think?
I think it goes back to what you're talking about just a minute ago, but it's just not optimizing your listings and not using good mockups. Because when you
Mm,
think about how a customer on Etsy is naturally searching for a product you're selling, of course they're going to put in a keyword, they're going to search for it, and now it's going to come down if your product appears within those search results, which you hope you to do. The next thing is to have a good mockup that's going to capture their attention. You want to get that click through into the listing, and then that's where you can sell them. But really, what's going to sell them is them first off finding you in the search results. So that comes down to titles and tags and a little bit of
mm.
description now, and then in order to have them click through the listing, you got to have a good mockup. So
Yeah.
optimize titles, tags, and really good mockups. That'll do it.
One thing, if I think back to my early Etsy days, I was probably using pretty bad mockups with Printful. Just the standard white background, nothing really about it to capture attention. So, yeah, anyone who's starting out, I'd recommend at least just have a look at best-selling mockups or the ones that MyDesigns provides because they give you an idea of what really works with Etsy in terms of the theme and the style. And I think adding, you have a lot of those. Well, first of all, the sizing guides I think are really useful.
Yeah.
They look quite professional. They have on MyDesigns, and things like that I think add some quality to the listing and also save you time when you're actually speaking to customers, because the customer support side of it, you might get questions about the sizing. If you have those mock-ups included in your listing, you should get less questions theoretically.
Yeah, and if you get less questions, that means you're providing usually the answers, which is going to bring your conversion rate up.
If you enjoyed that clip, then click here to watch the full episode of Print on Demand Wisdom.